guys, so for day 27 of Halloween nail designs, I am doing some wild, crazy mix and match type of set. I really didn't have a plan for this. I knew there was some Halloween designs that I wanted to do, but didn't have like a full set in mind for each one. So I thought, why not just throw them all together? And, it could be like a little mix and match set and hope that it looks somewhat alright in the end. It is a very chaotic set, I will say that. And this video is a little chaotic itself because I jump back and forth a lot between the nails. Usually I go down the line whenever I do it, but with this one, because I didn't know what I was doing and I, was jumping all over, it's a little chaotic. So for this first nail here, I think this is Clowning Around from Nails by Dev. I take this, I apply it to the entire nail, cure it for 60 seconds. Only did one coat of it because now I'm going in with some chrome. I'm using the Varnail 2-in-1 chrome top coat. You can use it for chrome and you can use it as a regular top coat. So when you're using it for chrome, you apply it, cure it for 30 seconds, and then rub your chrome on. So that is what I did. If you are using it as a top coat, you do have to cure it for the full 60 seconds. So since it is, also used as a top coat, after I get the chrome applied, since I only cured it for 30 seconds, and it does say if you're using it as a top coat to cure it for the full 60 seconds, that is telling me that it's only being partially cured for the chrome. So after I get the chrome applied, I do go ahead and cure it for a full 60 just to make sure that it is completely cured. That way I don't have any uncured gel on the nail. So anyhow, went in, cured that for 30 seconds. Now I'm rubbing on this orange chrome. And then I'll use a fan brush to dust off the excess. I really try to rub it in really well with the applicator brush at first. Whenever I do chrome, I always do this. Oh, I did not use the fan brush. I used the other side. Oh, I think I was testing out, seeing if using the clean sponge worked better. It works the same. You can use a fan brush or a clean sponge, either way. I got the chrome on, and then I don't know why I decided to use my LGN shiny top coat to seal it in. I should have just went ahead and used the Varnail 2-in-1 top coat to seal it in, because now there's probably chrome all in that. Actually, I know there is chrome all in this bottle now, so that is a dedicated chrome top coat now, which is disappointing. Anyhow, top coated that, cured it for 60 seconds. Now I'm just going in with the Emo Black liner gel from Ball Pit and doing a really messy swirl. It almost gives like Tim Burton style swirl on it. I used a 9mm liner brush. I held it super far from how I usually hold my brushes pretty close to the brush part, the bristles. If you've watched any of my other videos, then you've seen how close I usually hold it. But for this swirl, I held it farther, so I had a looser, more unsteady grip on the brush, so I can get that kind of messy, kind of wonky, like I said, Tim Burton style type of swirl on this nail. Otherwise, if I held it close, I would have been, making it or trying to make it be like a perfect swirl, and that is not what I was going for for this set. So I just went through, did the swirl, It ended up being however it ended up being. I did it all in one take. Sometimes when I do swirls, I will redo it about 100 times to get it the way I want it, or I'll like wipe off parts of it and redo that one part several times to get it the way I wanted it. But like I said, because I was trying to make it all like, you know, spooky looking, I just, one go. So I started from the middle, did the swirl all the way around until the swirl covered the entire nail. It You do like the full swirl for a good chunk of the nail, and then at some point it just kind of becomes like curved lines on the nail, or like half circles almost on the nail. So you just kind of do these lines, and you know like you're drawing it off of the nail. But anyways, went through, did that. And so the reason why I chose this to use the liner gel was, one, because I was painting on top of a top coat, and a shiny top coat, and sometimes painting on top of shiny top coat, it's a little slippery, a little slidey. Polish doesn't want to stay in place. It's a little harder to get things, to get the full pigmentation. And with a liner gel, it's thicker, it stays in place a lot better, it's way more pigmented. So I didn't have to worry about it like slipping and sliding and running all over. Like, it stayed where it needed to stay. Also, because I was going to be pouring acrylic powder on top, and this liner gel does cure without a sticky layer, which I don't really think that really matters when pouring on like a glitter or acrylic powder on top. Like if you're doing a sugar effect or like the sweater effect or whatever, I don't think it matters if the polish you're putting underneath cures with or without a sticky layer, because it is just being all covered up. But I don't know, it just gave me a little bit more peace of mind to know that there's not that sticky layer under there, or like, I don't know, I just felt better about using this instead of a regular polish. So now I'm just taking some black acrylic powder. This is some really old cheap acrylic powder that I've had for years. I don't even know the brand of it, but I decided to use this. You could use clear acrylic powder too, but I figured I would just use the black because I don't use acrylic powder, and I'm like, well, I can just pour it on top and, it's fine. So yeah, just pouring that on, and I do pour it on several times, because the first time you pour acrylic powder on, whether you're doing, the swirl design or you're doing a sweater design, you should do it multiple times, because that first layer is going to sink down into the polish, and you're gonna see shiny parts, and you don't want to see those shiny parts, because then that means like the acrylic powder has sunken down and it's not sitting on top, and you're not going to get the effect that you want. So you should do another layer and just keep adding, like doing multiple layers until there's no more shiny parts and you can't tell that the polish is wet anymore. You're just seeing the acrylic powder sitting on top. Then I go in, cure that for 60 seconds, and then I take a fan brush, dust off all the excess, and that was it for that nail. Set it off to the side. I will say, if you are not a fan of feeling any kind of texture on your nail, especially like a rough, grainy, sandpapery type of feel, I would not be doing that type of design, because you're going to get that gritty, grainy feel. I absolutely hate how it feels, so I don't personally do designs like that on my own nails. But for, doing it on a press on that I'm going to have on for all of about 5 minutes is fine. But like I said, if you're not a huge fan of texture, I don't recommend doing that design. For this next nail here, I painted it with this like that's not really an olive green, is it? It's like a swamp green, mucus green. Ew, that's so gross. This green color, I think it's called Ghost with the Most from Nails by Dev. I did 2 coats of that, cured each coat for 60 seconds. Now I'm going in with this Groovy Glob that is also from Nails by Dev. I got it last year in like the little mystery box that she had for Halloween. I actually have 2 of them, and I've never used them, and I never really like do anything that would warrant using them. They're both purple too, so like I'm kind of limited on what I can do with them. But like I said, for this set, I had like a bunch of different ideas that I wanted to do, but I didn't have like one full set that I could do them on. So that's kind of, why I decided to use them here. I decided to do some little like blobs on the nail. And I did them varying sizes. Some of them are small, some of them are big, as you can see on the nail. And this stuff is actually really cool. It's really thick, and it holds its shape really well. It's not running all over the nail, as you can see. I went through and did all those dots all at once and didn't have a problem with them running all over the nail or even like flattening out. They do level out a little bit, so you don't have like a peak on it, and it is a rounded lump, but it doesn't level out to where it like spreads across the entire nail and goes completely flat, which is really cool. Then I cured that for 60 seconds. And now I'm on to the next nail here. I went in with the black and painted the entire nail with this. And then I cured it for 60 seconds. Which nail is this? I think this is the thumbnail. I think I only did 1 coat of the black. Cured it for 60 seconds because I was going to go in with this really pretty like pearl purple on the nail, and it's a pretty sheer color. You do have to do several coats of it to like really pack a punch with the color, and I felt like if I added black underneath, it would probably make it pop out a little more. So that's why I added the black first, 1 layer of that. And this is that purple that I was talking about. It's called Witching Hour. It's from Ball Pit. It's one of those like pearl polishes that you can also like do little designs in, and it like holds its shape. So I did 1 coat of this, and you can see this purple shows up really well over this black, whereas if I just use it on its own, I do have to use a few coats of it. I think I used this on a different set as well, and I had to do like 3 coats to get it to really show up, and I still think even with those 3 coats, it didn't show up as intense as it did on this nail. But anyhow, I just did 1 coat of this, and I made sure to get a nice like even coat, and then I took a dotting tool and just kind of did some little swirls in it. You'll see it holds like the shape, so when you do the little designs, like it stays like that. It does kind of level out, so it's not like super textured and you can feel like all the little markings, but it doesn't level out to where it's like a smooth solid surface, if that makes any sense. Like you can see the ripples from the design that you do or whatever. So after I did that, I went ahead and cured for 60 seconds. I just kind of wanted to add a little bit of movement onto this nail. The idea was to do like a night sky type of situation, I guess. because I was going to add on some bat charms onto this nail, and I didn't just want like a plain background on it. I did kind of want a little bit of movement in the background just to make it a little more exciting to look at. These are the little bat charms that I'm using, and I'm using this Macart rhinestone glue. I kind of like this glue, kind of hate it. I don't know. It's nice and thick and it holds your charms and rhinestones in place, but at the same time, it does not level out at all. And going over it with top coat, like I will do here in a minute, you have to put a lot of pressure to even try and get it to level out, and even then, it still doesn't. You can still kind of see like the streaks from the brush. It's annoying. I don't know. Me and rhinestone glue, honestly, like, I have beef with rhinestone glue, like all rhinestone glue, because there are some, you know, I've tried several rhinestone glues, and there's always something with them that I don't really care for. I have not found a rhinestone glue that I really like, that I'm really happy with. So, still on the hunt for that. Anyhow, I used that for this because it was sitting right there. I think I used it for a set that I did right before this one. So I just continued using it. After I got the rhinestone glue on, I took my shiny top coat from LGN, applied that right on top. I always do this whenever I add on rhinestones and charms because I hate trying. See, you can still see the lines from the stupid rhinestone glue. Irritates the heck out of me, and no matter how much pressure I put on it, it's just, it bothers me. Thankfully, though, with this nail in particular, you can't really tell because it does have all that like swirlies going on in the background, but other sets that I have done with it, you can see it and it irritates me. Anyhow, what was I saying? Oh yeah, I always do rhinestone glue, apply top coat right on top because I hate trying to go around all of the rhinestones and charms and stuff afterwards with the rhinestone or with the top coat and trying not to get it on them and all that. Although with these bat charms you could top coat them if you wanted to. I didn't. I think they are made with like a black resin, so it shouldn't chip at all. Because, sometimes these little charms, they are painted on instead of made with, like, a color resin. So if they are painted on, like, the faces or designs or something on the charm, I definitely recommend top coating it. But with these bat ones, like I said, I'm pretty sure they're made out of a black resin, so I didn't bother top coating them. But if you wanted to top coat them, you can. I just stuck them right on, cured that for 60 seconds. Now for this nail, I'm going in with the black again, painting this nail. I don't remember what I did for this nail, so I don't remember if I only did one coat or if I did 2 coats, but either way, whether I did 1 or 2 coats, got cured for 60 seconds. I'm thinking I might have only, I'm thinking, I think I might have done 2 coats because I'm using the anti-chrome matte top coat from Ball Pit. So I'm probably going in and doing some sort of isolated chrome design for this. So I probably did do 2 coats just so it was fully covered. Cured each coat for 60 seconds. Now applying this anti-chrome matte top coat, and I cure that for 60 seconds. Like I said, I don't remember what I did on this nail, so I'm not sure. But like I said, I probably am doing some sort of isolated chrome design since I'm going in with this just to make sure that the chrome doesn't stick to the base. Love this anti-chrome top coat, works wonderfully. And I was right, I am doing a isolated chrome design. I'm doing a little spider web, so I'm taking a liner brush. I don't know if this is either a 12 or a 15. I'm pretty sure that's a 15 millimeter liner brush. Yeah, it is. I tend to like to use a longer liner brush whenever doing spider webs. It helps to make them look a little more wispy and thinner, for me at least. So I'm just going in. I I think I'm using the Emo Black liner gel to do this. If not, yeah, no, the brush is black. I'm using the Emo Black liner gel to do this spider web, and I'm doing like a more realistic looking type of spider web instead of doing like the classic spider web you always see for Halloween where it's like the curved swooped lines and all of that. I'm doing more like straight lines that are kind of like zigzaggy and like they go straight across and they like cross over each other and everything instead of being like the, you know, pretty symmetrical type of even spiderweb that you usually see, you know. And then I cure that for 15 seconds and then rub the chrome on. And then because I did only partially cure this liner gel after I got the chrome on, I did go ahead, stick it back in the lamp, cure it for the full 60 to make sure that that liner gel was completely cured. And then after getting that cured, like I said, went in, applied the chrome, and went back to my usual method of dusting off the excess chrome with the fan brush. I've tried using like a clean sponge or whatever. Not my favorite method. So I'm just sticking with using the fan brush to clean off excess chrome. And now I am adding some rhinestone glue on because I am going to apply a little spider charm on this nail. I thought the web was cute, but it needed a little bit more to fit in with the rest of the nails because there's quite a bit going on with those other nails. And this one was just feeling a little too plain for me. So I decided to take this cute little spider charm that I have. It's like one of those silver metal ones with like a rhinestone on its back. Now I'm taking the Gen B Crazy Top in standard and top coating with this. I use this now pretty much all the time whenever I'm top coating chrome, except for that orange one that I did earlier. Why? Like I said, I don't know why I chose to top coat it with the LGN top coat, but I don't know. I did, and that was a big mistake. Anyhow, like I said, I pretty much always use this now whenever I'm top coating chrome, because I use a separate brush that is easier to clean. And if any excess chrome does get into this pot, it does all just sink down to the bottom. You can kind of see on camera a little bit of the chrome that has sunken down to the bottom of the containers, so I don't have to worry about, the chrome contaminating the entire jar like it does whenever you use a regular, like, bottle top coat. So anyhow, get that applied, and then I take my little spider charm, stick that on, cure that for 60 seconds. I just thought the little spider charm was super cute. I like the little rhinestones on it, and it went really well. And like I said, I needed something on this nail because it was a little plain, and I needed a little bit more. So the spider charm was the perfect touch for that. For this nail, which is the last nail, I'm going in with this color called Monster from Ball Pit. Here I was deciding if I wanted to apply a gray base, because as you can see, it is a pretty sheer color here. And this polish is weird because it is like this kind of milky sheer gray color, and then it has little like fibers in it to make it look like hair, hence the name Monster Fur. I absolutely love this gel polish. It's so weird, it's so unusual, but I love it because it is weird and unusual. And like, what other gel polish do you know that has like hair in this, like this? Like, it's so weird. I love it. I never use it. I think I used it once last year, but other than that, I never use it because I don't have anything to use it for. But I wanted to create a little monster nail with it. So, like I said, because it is pretty sheer and see-through, I thought about adding like a plain opaque gray to the base of it, but then I was like, I don't think I want to do that. I do kind of really like how it looks being this kind of sheer color. I'll just add a couple more layers on top of it and just leave it like that. So I did end up doing 3 coats of that. I cured each coat for 60 seconds, and this is how it looks. It still is a little see-through, a little sheer, but it's fine. I really liked how it looked. I thought it really gave like a hairy monster kind of look. And then I took one of these little eyeball charms that I have. So the bat and this eyeball charm I got in one of the mystery boxes that I got last year. Either from Betsy Varnell or Daily Charm. I cannot remember. But you can find, charms like these. Amazon, Temu, AliExpress, Shein, Betsy Varnell, Daily Charm. I don't know. Wherever you can find nail charms at, you can probably find these. So I glued that on with that Macart rhinestone glue. I just took the glue, globbed that on, stuck the nail on, cured it for 60 seconds. I didn't top coat it at all because I knew I was going in with some sculpting gel, and sculpting gel always sticks better to a sticky surface. So that's why I didn't top coat. I wanted to keep that sticky surface of that base color, and from the rhinestone glue, because that rhinestone glue is not a no wipe rhinestone glue. It does cure with a sticky layer, so you do have to top coat it or wipe it off with alcohol to get rid of that sticky layer. And then I took the white and the black Trippy Gel from Nails by Dev and mixed it together to create a gray to kind of match the gray polish that I had used. It doesn't match exactly, but also, like, if you look at an animal, this isn't an animal, but like if you look at an animal with fur, like their eyelids don't have hair on it and stuff, and so it does look different. So I was, it was fine like this. Like, it's like the skin around the eye, your eyelid, and then like the body of the monster, which is all fuzzy and furry and hairy and all that, right? So I mixed that together, rolled it out in like a log, and then I cut off some tiny little pieces to create like the eyelids. And I think I mainly used this cuticle pusher, which this cuticle pusher that I'm using here, I specifically only use it for my sculpting gels to like scoop them out of the container or to like shape them up like this, how I'm doing here, because it is a little difficult to clean off and like get all of the gel off, and like if it's uncured on there, I don't want to run the risk of using that on myself, or like sometimes I'll do my mom and sister's nails, and I don't want any, like if there is any uncured gel on there or anything, like I don't want to run the risk of potentially introducing, that uncured gel onto the skin and then creating acrylate allergy and all that. So this one I do specifically use just for sculpting gels and like 3D gels and all that. I do clean it off, cure it, and all that. Like if I can't get the gel off of it, because sometimes it does stick really well to it and it doesn't want to come off no matter how much I try to scrape it off or clean it off with alcohol, it just sticks onto it. So I will cure it on there and whatever. So it's a mess. Which again is why I use it specifically for the sculpting gels. So I just kind of messed around with it. I'm doing a great job of being on camera and being in frame. Just put that on and messed around with it until I got it how I wanted it to look for the eyelid. I did cover up a little bit of the eye itself, and then mainly had it around the outside of the eye. And that's also why I didn't really care how the rhinestone glue looked afterwards, because I knew it was going to get covered with this 3D gel anyhow, so I didn't really care if it oozed all out and like got all kind of lumpy and bumpy around the eyeball, because it was all getting covered anyhow. Then once I got it the way I wanted it, I went ahead and cured for 60 seconds. Now I'm going in with the Nails by Dev matte top coat, applying this to the entire nail, the fur part and the eyelid part. If I did get it on the eyeball part, which I didn't really care, because I could just easily come in with some shiny top coat afterwards and apply that on top and make it shiny again. But I really wanted to make sure that the 3D gel that I used was completely matte, so I made sure that was completely covered, cured that for 60 seconds. The Nails by Dev matte top coat is a wipe off top coat, so you do have to wipe the nail off with some alcohol to remove the sticky layer and to get the matte effect after you cure it. And like I said, I did get matte top coat on the eyeball part, so it does look kind of funny right now. But then I went in with my LGN shiny top coat and applied that right onto the eyeball part to make it shiny again and not matte. Really making sure that I only put it on the eyeball part and not the eyelid part, because, like I said, I want the lid part to be matte and the eyeball to be shiny. And then I also went in and top coated that green nail with the little purple lumps on it because I hadn't top coated that yet, but all of the other nails were top coated. And then after I got the top coat all applied, I did go ahead and cure for 60 seconds. And this is the finished result. Like I said at the beginning, this set is a little crazy, a little chaotic. It's all over the place. It's not super cohesive, but at the same time, it is because it's all like Halloween themed and like it goes together, but at the same time, it doesn't go together because like it's the same theme across the set of being Halloween, but they're all different designs, and it's just a chaotic mess. I really love it. Love it. Like, this is my type of set, you know. If you've watched any of my other videos, you know, I do kind of like the chaotic type of sets. I like a lot of stuff going on. I like a lot of different stuff going on. Just anything like this is my favorite type of set. And like I said, it's a mix and match set. So you could do any kind of designs you want across the nails. You can pick and choose. You could use the same designs I did. You could do different Halloween designs. Basically, whatever you want. And it's going to be a mess, but it's all going to come together because it's all going to be Halloween themed and it's going to look good. It's going to fit in with, like, you know, the Halloween aesthetic of the season. So it all works out, even though, like I said, it is a mess. Why did I turn off the light? I might have turned off the light so you could see like the pearl sheen going on that purple nail. Maybe also to see the chrome a little bit better. I don't know. But this set is super fun. Like I said, super crazy, super wild. Doesn't really make any sense. The purple groovy glob stuff does glow in the dark. So I was, you know, charging it up to show you here. That wasn't really like why I used it. I used it because it was purple and 3D and I wanted, like, you know, to look like almost kind of like a cauldron with like the bubbles coming up and whatever, kind of like give that effect. I wasn't really caring about the glow in the dark, like that's not why I used it, but I did want to show you that it does glow in the dark in case you wanted to know what that looked like. And if you were interested in it, it does glow in the dark. But yeah, this was a really fun set to do. It was fun to do all these different things, use some stuff that I've never used before, use some stuff that I don't usually get to use, and just really have fun with it. I love sets like this where I can just have fun and do whatever I feel like doing in the moment. But that is it for this video. Thank you so much for watching, and I hope you enjoyed it.